arrows on them, so they found this fire pit to try to get themselves up. They have the wood in their inventory, so they're going to continue to stoke the flame until they have enough HP where they feel comfortable to rotate. As Rift Island appears, TK and Rituals from Naughty Nets are going to be the first team to try to claim that Rift Island.
They will be able to do just that. Again, they were 19 TK and Rituals. 3 elims in now. You have to assume they're almost pushing onto that top 15 spot or so. One big game, and they're going to be inside that top 10. That's big money.
That's what I'm saying. Even though we're talking about 150,000, top 3 going to globals, each and every placement on the way down, there's still hundreds of thousands of dollars up for grabs. And there's another chance.
Cold is down.
FNCS Major 3 along
Cold
the way. And yeah,
finished.
Braid's taken down Cold, but it was just a knock, which means Acorn is still in this game.
That is right. We're going to have to get a little update on that developing situation. Chubbs and Bryce right now are just trying to make a rotate here. Let's go ahead and watch this replay, though. Get us the full scenario here. So Cold was caught rotating there, and just this timing to Kinetic Blade double opened up on, and just like that.
It's going to be hard for Acorn, honestly.
This is tough.
For him to get Cold back into the game, he's going to have to hope from this zone to the next that there is a far pull away from Mega City, and then he's going to have to be one of the last teams there to try to get Cold back into the game. But just 58 points separates first and fifth, making NA the closest region through 10 games in Major 2. And I'm excited for that.
Look at this. Cold says, all right, you want to push in? I'm going into the storm. In fact, I'm going to go way outside to go play for the res here. I like this play, but he has to be extremely careful. He even stops the fire back. Remember, without a teammate, he needs those storm surge tags as well for later. So these are all plays that are going to start to add up. Oh, wow. No. Unfortunately, chipped right there. He won't be hunted, but he will be hurt. It's going to waste much-needed time. Those chug splashes. He doesn't want to overheal here. He will have to wait until he gets his teammate. And there it is. He will be able to pick him up. What a save here for Cold. My gosh.
I was thinking losing the shields was fine. Getting tagged up like that, he has the shield cake. It's not going to take long before he gets back to 100. It's the HP loss that actually means more to Acorn here in this situation. It does look like he is going to get Cold back into the game. And honestly, that's a must in almost every situation.
Oh, the shots
amount of impact that Cold has on this lobby, whether a solo or not, is just so immense. Even though Acorn is the brains of the operation, they're the perfect mixture of brains and bronze.
Yep, but here's the thing. Acorn does have the movement. Cold does not now, as they've lost their Kinetic Blade, so maybe it would have made more sense to bring that Kinetic Blade with you, but we'll find out. They end up regretting that play right there. Duke and Edgy move on into the Naughty Nets here. They're trying to find themselves a little situation to possibly farm back their material, but first you have to scout the area, make sure the coast is clear. And look at this, they play extremely passively, put those extra walls down just in case there's anyone lurking around, and here goes the play. So Acorn farming back up his material, obviously. He's already split some of those mats with Cold there.
The blessing of this situation is this isn't too far away from their actual landing spot, so they know a lot of the loot that they did leave behind earlier on in the game. But since Acorn had to use all that time to go to the backside of zone and get that reboot off, they lost out on a lot of time to get that Storm Surge tags. But a team that doesn't need it, Poyo and Sphinx from the top of Mega City, 600 damage above the threshold. They're just trying to use that scavenged loot to go ahead and get that HP and shield back up before they continue on with their rotation, because they know when they finally get towards that edge of zone, it is going to be tough. It's going to be congested.
Bryce tries to make a move. He's lost Chubbs already as well. Great little parkour trick there to heal while on the fly, not losing momentum. Couple heals here off to the left there, another med kit. Cease, meanwhile, is in a fight with Curious and Tragics there, of course, to back him up. What is happening here? Bryce is just in a world of trouble. There is way too many teams a little too comfortable right now in the storm here. And this is what we talk about. This is what the Kinetic Blade has done to the lobby. It really has made players play so differently.
Oh, Bryce underneath the shot.
Oh, no. Shots from behind. The door is open. The Storm Surge is on. This is just trouble here.
It's just one of those things. When you're so down on Surge like that, you have no control over your game. You gotta go find the first person you see, beeline straight to him and try to get some damage. Acorn doing a good job getting back into the game.
Wow.
Medkit's gonna be used. And honestly, even though when they finally get to the zone, it is gonna be congested, but as the zone begins to move in 15 seconds, they can immediately return back inside of Mega City and try to get themselves a spot to where they know no one's gonna be at.
Well, I was wondering how he was gonna get back, or if he was gonna go play for that kinetic blade.
That's
of course he was. I don't even know why I asked. They said, no, we're going right back to that loot monster. I got this. Give me a second. And here they are, back like they never left. Of course, they were right on that line for being safe above the surge, and they still have managed to battle that problem. And look, already Acorn putting those tags down. That knock was just a fluke. They are showing you that they are here and willing to fight for this championship.
They know he's a solo on the bottom.
Oh my god.
And they know they got the tags on him.
God.
Making it look easy. Shield getting drained, just a sliver of HP. They push themselves into the box, and that's loot that they need. Remember, Acorn had to reboot Cold back into the game. But since they took that time to drop down low, the free location that they once had moments ago, going on over to so many other teams as Cooper and Miro are trying to fight tooth and nail to try to stay alive. Another team is trying to push their way into the box. They got to be down on Surge while they're well above. This is just the nature of the game, no matter where you're positioned when it comes to Storm Surge. But a nice side shot from Miro is going to distract them just long enough. Cooper's going to go down, and Miro knows this one. He has to go ahead and disengage. He can't be the hero in this situation if he wants to hold on to his second place spot.
Yeah, they are in second place. So second place is now fractured here. No Cooper, and unlike Acorn and Cold, there is no time to play for the save. They had a long go for the reboot card, but Miro's gonna go for it anyways. He says, hey man, just gonna go on and stop right here. Give me a second. And no, they're sitting right on top of that loop pile. Miro, don't push your luck, buddy. Yep, there it is. He realizes it's time to go. That's tough.
Yeah, no, it definitely is, because if he was going to get that reboot back, it was literally now or never. Then you can try to Kinetic Blade on over to Mega City and try to make it happen there. But since it's taken a ton of time, I think that chance is going to go outside of the window. As finally a lot of these teams that were once positioned in Mega City have to rotate on out. And if you're one of the teams that actually had a building in Mega City, this rotation will be easier than some, because we're going up that natural mountain where a lot of these teams, if you don't have builds, it's going to be a treacherous journey.
That's right, but the Kinetic Blade can absolutely cancel that. Pollo and Spinx are one of the few that have it at the moment. And look at the move. Oh, the shots come in.
No.
Now, low shots come in from up above as well. And just absolute punishment. Well, listen, we already know Spinx doesn't have whites. This is why he's so lit up. Pollo now has officially lost his lead. This is our fourth place team here. They absolutely need this Siphon. Can they steal away a tag here? That would be huge for them. Surge could potentially become an issue. I think that's a looming problem, but a Siphon right now, an elimination here for White Heels would be the best thing possible. Batch is still alive there on the side. Acorn and Cold here as well. This is a pocket of crazy players. Acorn and Cold are actually pushing their way on up too. Testing their luck against these big duos here. Little do they know, it is the top 5. They are the other best.
If you just turned on the stream right now and you see Cold, maybe not now with 59 HP, you would have never guessed he got knocked and taken out of the game once before. But that just goes to show the testament of Acorn. A lot of people kind of give him slack because he's playing with somebody as skilled as Cold, but this guy does so much for that duo. It is absolutely insane as Duke and Edgy, even with that off-spawn win against Smallzy and Diego plays, they find themselves below the damage threshold. They need to find it now, because going down here in Game 11 is not where you want to be. We lose Duke. Now it's all up to Edgy with Storm Surge still doing so much damage. That's Crispin Yuz towards the low ground, trying to break him down, but he's going to take that challenge and run with it. A huge shot's going to be fired, but he's still 17 below the threshold and continuously falling.
One more mini, that's it. Clock is ticking now. He needs a tag, misses the most important one of the day, and that possibly could cost them the lead here. We'll find out shortly as they start to move in. 25 health was taken.
No.
Another tag there too. No one given the elimination credit, but he is down and out. Right before top 25, right before the big placements. Acorn's gone too. It's all up to Cold once again here. Cold pushes out to Lizix, boxes him up, finds the 1-2, puts him down, and he is right back into it. Putting the game on his back, putting the points into his pocket.
I can't believe the sacrifice right now that Acorn made just to get Cold back in 3 eliminations. That's huge because now they got that 12 points, and you got to think, Duke and Edgy, they only had 2 eliminations. They went down before the placement points set in, so they started at 490, and with 4 points per elimination, quick math says they have 498 points. That is nothing if Miro is still alive picking up these points as a solo.
Sphinx and Pollo, 4th place out. 1st place, Duke and Edgy's out. Baka Pars, Bryson Chobbs, that's 8, 9, 10, and 11 on the ropes. The chances now, the time is here. We have a lot of teams still able to put up a new top 3 for us. Epic Whale still in this game here, looking to play upset of even Skittles once again on high ground, trying to find their way back inside of this competition somehow.
Does have that flint knock pistol. Try to push himself up. His teammate does go down just as we jump on board. Yamso and Rise, we're trying to get ahead of all these teams. They're one of the ones that could take that 1st place with a well-placed game here, an even better one in game number 12. Yamso with a little flash and drive, go ahead and hit some shots with that Mythic Tactical pistol to try to keep them above the damage threshold.
Cold is down.
Continuously looking for more. You said it yourself. Acorn and Cold run has come to an end.
They did not be able or could not take advantage of the opportunity. Now Bugha and Threats have the high ground. Bugha and Threats are back in this conversation. They came into this in top 7. They don't have any elims. What separates them from the rest is the fact that they are now earning placement points to scratch that. Finally, the points start to add up. Make it 2 elims. They're giving us the show right now from height, and we have seen every team on high ground effectively uncontested throughout the day. For now, though, look at this, Jacob. Rise and Yamso are still in this too.
Looked like he just coned his opponent into the box to give himself a free rotation as they move to the low side of the zone. Legendary Slurp Juice means Rise is going to regenerate that shield and HP in the blink of an eye. Into the top 17 we go, but this zone is continuously pulling up and down all around these different elevations. But Bugha and Threads, they're going pay off, only time will tell.
Pamso and Thatcher also trying to close that gap. They will be up there inside the top 5 conversation. We are going to have a race for a finish here for the last game when this one concludes. Pamso jumps in the box, loses teammate. He needs to clutch up. It's worth so much, and he does it. It's placement points. It's more than that too, and the flick shot. And Pam is still going here.
Trying to keep everything intact for him, but they run out of resource, running out of time, and they go back to the lobby on that one. That's Rise who picks up another knock. Him and Yamso trying to take 1st place back, which they had at one stage on the day. Staggering himself out. One splash less. Time is running out. Rise now needs to beeline the zone. He's taking so much damage in the storm. He fires off a huge shot, but opportunity running out the window, and Rise goes down.
He's finished. Bugha and Threats now have it on easy street here. Plenty of placement points and a win waiting for them to be picked up here, but they do have a little bit of material to work with. It's going to be very patient from here on out for them. Otherwise, we see trouble. Trashy is up. He finds his way into the storm there. Win condition revealed to him. That's a Slurp Juice. TK, nothing to work with. No heals. Kinetic Blade in hand. Does he challenge height? Does he take a fight from the side? We'll find out.
Bugha and Threats are actually the only duo left in this lobby. Everybody else here is solos. Flare gun going from Epic Whale, and a bang shot to take out TK. Somebody clip that, because I need to re-see it, as now his next target is in sight. That's going to be Trashy, and he gets the 1 pump again, but he has 2 big opponents, Threats and Bugha, who are trying to fight for the high ground, but against the Mythic, 1-shot potential. Epic Whale has already done that 2 different times on the day. He takes down Threats, but goes down to the zone before the Siphon can tick in. Bugha and Threats take the game.
Man, oh my, Epic Whale is showing us why he is one of the best to ever do it. But in the end, Bugha and Threats are also the greatest on the space as well here. North America is really starting to fire up right now. Jacob, what a game that was.
What a game indeed. I just gotta add, was that the first flare gun elimination? Are we playing trick shots here? He banked it off the wall, but unfortunately, even though he did get the one pump on the threats, Bugha with the high ground and the pressure from zone after zone, they take the game overall, and they started that one in 7th place.
I know this is a winning package, but I would not have been upset to see the flare gun elimination thrown in there. Take a look from Bugha's perspective. The box fight was going down. Epic Whale put up a great one, but Threats and Bugha come out on top for game number 11 here at the grand finals. And now we just have one more.
This is the final countdown, the last go around, and with Bugha and Threats to start that game in 7th place, I can only hope they inch themselves up the leaderboard to give themselves a fighting chance, but only Zeke and our analysts can let us know.
Stress.
They're doing it
at an all-time high, like Bugha here and Threats. And you know, this is actually a fight I've always wanted to see. I wish under a little bit different circumstances, right? I wanted a straight-up 2v2 Epic Whale and Reed versus Bugha and Threats. This time, though, they will walk away winners. And of course, this was actually the story of our top 5 going down super, super early, Vivid, which just opened up the entire lobby.
Exactly. I mean, it just keeps happening, right? We think that they have the lead secured. If they just get one more good game in, they can kind of smooth sail to the FNCS championship. Then they always seem to slip up, and now we're set up for a phenomenal game number 12 because, like Jacob mentioned, Bugha and Threats, they were in that 7th place position. With many of those teams falling down early this game, they're going to be up their top 3 contention as well.
I really believe that that high ground is where they have the most peace and happiness up there. They look great. They're playing great. And I'm assuming they're going to be trying to go for it this last game.
I distinctly remember Jenny saying, I want Bugha and Threats to win. And now here they are. So we have Caster Curse. She has Caster Blessings. But anyway, let's take a look at the standings. Remember, one final game will decide it all. Iamzo and Rise, once again, they step up to Duke and Edgy, and they say, not today. But friends, take a look. It's so only close. 5 points. Just as NA always does, this will come down to the last game of grand finals to determine it all.
Iamzo and Rise, yeah, you're talking about the 5th place lead that they have over 2nd place. What about the only 19-point lead that they have over 5th place? It really is anybody's game. Iamzo and Rise, though, big opportunity from them this game. They were in 3rd place coming into this. They were definitely around like 30 points behind. Took full advantage of the fact that we saw Duke and Edgy go down early. Picked up the eliminations, clutched it up. Shout out to them for giving us a solid game number 11. So that way we have a close game number 12.
They were solid with the loot path. They were solid with, all legendary weapons. They were looking real fresh, real nice, very clean. And
they've hit it, Zeke. The big 5-0, 50 eliminations throughout this grand finals.
This is why we've known Iamzo and Rise as slayers of NA. That 50 is a statement in itself. As we kind of continue to look down, Duke and Edgy, remember they were kind of in this shambles position here toward like the halfway point of the game. Something misfired in this game.
Yeah, listen, Diego Plays is back to contesting Duke and Edgy, and that's helped them out so much. But this game, you would be like, oh, they're going to be chilling on Storm Surge because they get those early fights, those early eliminations. But no, it was Storm Surge that ultimately ended up taking them down this game. So maybe they were a little too confident when it came to thinking about how much damage they had done.
Yeah, and sometimes in those situations, you're going to move in and try to take risky plays. And most of the time, it doesn't really work out in your favor. You have to. Because of that Storm Surge damage, you're going to go out anyway. It didn't work out in that case, but, I really think that in some of the cases it will, and it was a good play.
I have to highlight Pamstu and Fatch here in your 4th place. Oh Pamstu just putting on the solo clutch of his career right here, right now, saying, look, we want one of those 3 spots to global championships, and if I have to do it myself, I will.
I'm so happy you brought that up, Zeke. Top 3 as we go into game number 12. Nobody knows who's going to finish where. Top 5 is so close, but only 3 spots for these teams are available when it comes to that global championship qualification. And Pamstu, yeah, like you mentioned, that solo clutch, keeping it in for them. 490 points now for this duo after game number 11.
Yeah, and we talked about this earlier, but Pamso and Fatch, they were not always had the kinetic blade in their hand. Now Pamso did, so that definitely worked for their favor. Him having that, he was able to get out of sticky situations and put himself in a good position to last long throughout endgame.
Yeah, I just love Pamsu and Fatch. I think they're just one of the best in NA. And to see them qualify, I know it means the world to them. But again, we're only looking at this top 3 spot. What terrifies me right now is the fact that after that game, Bugha and Threats have now said, okay, look, we can actually fight for those top 3 spots. And if I was to even go down, right, Pollo and Sphinx here in 6th place, it is a 50-point difference, give or take. But if those top 5 go down early, or make the same mistakes like we've seen these past couple of games, even someone like them could just say, hey, opportunity right here on my doorstep. Let's go take it.
Yeah, top 7 is where I'm looking at, right? Like 453 points. That jump to 8th place after that. I think that one's a little too steep for any of those teams to kind of bump up into the top 3, but we got to keep a close eye on pretty much every single team that's top 7 going into this last game to figure out who's going to win and who's going to go to globals.
I think that's so exciting because I know all of the pressure that has to be on these teams, but they have to really focus on themselves. Yes, all the top teams, you know, going down early, maybe some mistakes being made, they don't need to be even on the lookout for that. They need to just focus on how they can play best, and that will hopefully solidify a spot for them in the top 3.
And we've seen historically, this is actually what results in teams doing best, right? Just saying whatever has happened up to this point, it does not matter. This is the game we're going to make it all count. Now, again, if we would just even look at that top 7, there's only 3 spots and there will only be 1 winner. And as much as I'd love everybody to win, everybody can't. There's only those 3 spots. Who are we hoping will take it this last game?
You know, Dukes and Edgy, they've been in first place so many times. I think they got it. You know, I'm going to throw it to Cooper and Miro, and I got Bugha and Threats also. That's going to be our top 3.
Dude, I already told y'all. You said it. I want Threats to have an FNCS championship. I really want to see Bugha and Threats take 2nd one in a row today.
Then there's Yams and Rise. I don't know.
Again, there's just so many names. But this is it. It all comes down to a single game in North America. This will determine it all for Major number 2. Winners and who will go in those top 3 spots. Brace for chaos. This is the last game of the North America FNCS Grand Finals.
Like Zeke just said, this is the final chance for anybody to take that crown. And we have 5 different teams that have a huge shot to take it overall.
That is right. I heard the competition. I heard, of course, our talent talking about who they have eyes on. I'm going for Fatch and Pamso right now. The French Canadians. Let's see what they can do, of course. But at the end of the day, it is a great time to be a part of North America's competition. It is so close. A daring finish amongst our top 5. I mean, at the end of listen, they haven't even dropped any rounds. Like, everyone's been playing so well. It's all gonna come down to this. And of course, Duke and Edgy are contested.
Oh, this is almost could have been it if they did lose this one, but they win it in the blink of an eye. If everybody's getting their picks, you heard Jenny saying Bugha and Threats, you heard Vivid's opinion, even yours. I'm voting for Duke and Edgy. Edgy on the West and the East region, 2nd place. 2nd place could make somebody go mad. I think this is his time to shine.
That is true. Rise and Eonzo, however, do want to see if they can wield that Axe of Champions this season, too. You see Rise pretty much holding a replica look-alike one just to feel good, just in case. Already preparing himself mentally. He's already the winner. As we jump on over to Acorn and Cold, 2 of which you actually wielded as Axe of Champions in the past. It's just so close. I don't even want to call them 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or 5th, honestly. They're all right about time.
And it's going to definitely be harder for both Pollo and Sphinx, and obviously Acorn and Cold. 50 points.
that. If you wanna eat, I'll chef that. Come and move your feet, I'll let that. Anything you need, I'll get that. Let me take the lead.
Strategy that they practice. Southwestern side of Mega City. This is where they usually get their surge a lot of the time.
I wouldn't even be upset if they played a little bit more aggressive this game, just so that they can guarantee a top 3. They will really have to do it. When you're 30 points behind the next big placement jump, you have to do something spectacular, not just outperform them with eliminations. You have to outplace them as well. It's not an easy ask. Ryzen Yamzo right outside the splashy. You can see that they have the high ground position as well. They want to build a big box. They want to look around and see what they can do for damage in general. And Pamsteel Thatch, much different conversation. They've got a very pleasant Frenzy Fields here. Their strategy has been play dynamic, rotate to different spots, take advantage of teams on the move.
Right now, you can kind of see a team, at least the players, slowly but surely sneaking up right next to them. Have to be careful, because if they're the ones that get caught off guard, there goes their FNCS championship right out the window. And as they currently sit in 4th place, that would take away their hope of going to that global championship. As Bugha and Threats, currently they sit outside of that top 3 as well, in 5th place. 484 points to start the day. Only 19 away from that top 3 spot. Definitely doable for them.
Wait a second. Threats knocked Boyo in the feed. That's a huge, huge knock right there. Take a look. Threats is right here. Cold and Acorn are also in a fight. What is happening right now? Everyone putting it on the line here. Cold Acorn up against Lizux, but a third party's looking in from the outside. Remember, this is right outside the Mega City. Threats is nearby. There's a lot of competition here. Competition that truly matters to our top 5. Keep that in mind as you weigh the significance of these fights.
This is huge. You kind of saw it as soon as he went down. Everybody kind of beelined their way on over. You see Larson sneaking up. Boyo. This is huge because everybody was kind of beelining to try to go for the knock. They end up fighting each other, which is a huge distraction for them to get the revive and keep their game intact. No room for any mistakes.
Well, this is what we just talked about, right? Well, Boyo and Sphinx played for it all. They literally tried to, and look, it came back to bite them. They were punished as they stepped to the likes of Cold, Acorn, and Threats. Little did they know the champion caliber of teams that were waiting nearby. No pushover teams. These guys are going to hit their shots, and they did just that. Collectively, of course, working together here. The trades right now. Threats gets punished, but so does Cold. Lizux off to the right here.
I think it's funny because as soon as Boyo and Sphinx got back on up, they're like, hey, maybe let's not try that. They went back on over to Mega City. I expect them to have some sort of skyscraper built in a moment to try to take advantage of all those players that are rotating near their spot. When it comes to Storm Surge, it is going to be a must. So many teams, even ones you wouldn't expect, have suffered to it at least one time on the weekend, except for maybe Pamsteel and Thatch. Because that dynamic play that you're talking about over towards Frenzy Fields, they can go east, west, south, or north to try to pick up Surge, sneak up on a team. And they're at the edge of the zone as well. Spinx continues his rotation. Doesn't want to get stuck. He's trying to find the next highest elevation that he can work with that is outside of Mega City. That way you can do exactly that again. You build your tower, and then you just terrorize people with the red eye.
He gets there before anyone else.
Oh, wow.
My gosh. Tries to wait, and Cole just rips him apart. And another team is out there looking inwards as well. You have to assume that's Acorn, who's got Spinx in his line of sights. Look at Spinx looking around like, hello? Where did that come from? No idea. You know he's not going to peek it again. There's a big pot down here. That's good for him. There it is. Pre-builds. Gets to the rest of the loot here. It's secured. This is their spot to do with. And already Acorn, Cold still in the mix, though. They have a team right on top of them. Remember, that was Lizux. Have they not moved yet? Oh, it's Bully still there. Yup.
Oh, Cole gets tagged up, trying to get on over to Acorn. If they get in the same box, they were separated for just a little bit. Bully and Krizix weren't able to really take advantage, which kind of helps Poyo and Spinx yet again, because now they're able to rotate a little bit to safety. Puka and Threats is that team that you see on the southern portion of the map, trying to go to the slow side of the zone, as it does pull towards the north. As Acorn and Cold looking for information, and without the kinetic blades, it's not going to be easy for them to try to disengage.
Although Cold and Acorn didn't get an elim, neither did Lizux and Bully there. If you go back and just watch that fight, slow it down, there was so much high-tier duo play in action there. But from the pinches of Lizux and Bully to the defensive plays of Acorn. The caliber of competition right now is just insane, but okay, let's get back into things. It's game 12. We still don't know who's going to win this all here.
Ooh, I love that. I love doing this. Use the kinetic rock, get some high elevation, and then from there, you can use the kinetic blade to get even farther and optimize your usage, especially if you have a rare kinetic blade where there is only 2 charges, as Edgy sets himself up. May not be in zone, but it's right next to it, where he's trying to look at anybody that's on the southwest part of the map, from Shattered Slabs all the way even more south, to try to figure out, I gotta get more Surge. Even though they did win off spawn, we talked about it. That's only a max of 200 Surge, because it's only HP that you're taking off.
That's right. Cooper and Mira on the other side from Splashy on up to the Bastion now. You can see they're trying to situate themselves here. They've cost themselves a lot of material on the rotate. They want to start bouncing right back into the game, make sure they're fully healthy. They're starting to mix things up. Cold and Acorn still have problems, but this time it's with Rapid and Jess, the kings of the Vault here right now. They were thinking they were going to sit around. Cold and Acorn come through, clean things up, and keep their tournament run alive. All for that Vault loot, just to see what is here.
That's big, because that's not only are they able to scrape together all that loot, just like Jeff and Rapid were trying to do, that's 8 points closer to closing that gap and trying to reclaim that top spot. We talked about it. Much harder than some of the other teams that are in the top 5 to take it overall. But if you are going to give yourself a fighting chance, you got to do just that. Fight for every single point that is here in this lobby.
They have nothing to lose.
Nothing at all.
They're really the only duo with that gap right inside the top 7 that had absolutely nothing to lose. Everything they gain here. I would not be surprised if they continue to push teams just like that and really play for first. That's what you have to do.
Slower you go, the harder it's going to be. But for Cooper and Miro, they're hoping everybody in front of them already rotated. So the chances of them really being gatekeep slim to hopefully none, as Fuga and Threats continue to rotate to the slow side of the zone, something they've been doing all weekend long, and it's working more times than not. As you see, every single time, they're just trying to get their resources, farm up. Wood is going to be the easiest thing to find here. When it comes to those hard mats, they need to figure out where they're going to get it from.
This is a tough game for them. The fact that they're this late into the fourth zone and only 55 builds on Threats makes you wonder what happened after they rotated away from Acorn and Cold. Batch and Pam still as well, sitting inside the zone right now, playing late for the heals. Nearing that cat material count. Not a great shotgun in hand, but everything else seems to be going in their favor. Comes the big move. But yeah, Landrock is still watching here. Little blind fire to see if he was going to hit something. Nothing quite connects on those flying players, but gotta respect the attempt. Thatch is really, really starting to eat deep into the HPs. They're just trying to find anything now. This is an act of desperation into the Shattered Slabs right now.
Typically, there is loot left by in the vault if nobody else scavenged it already. They're just hoping that there's at least a morsel of a med mist, a med kit, even bandages would help them at this stage in the game as Acorn and Cold just trying to use the static launch pads to get from point A to point B. Last we saw Acorn, he didn't have any mobility on him. Luckily for Cold, he does have the Kinetic Blade with 3 charges, just in case things do get rough. But they did find themselves a nice little house and crevice inside of the zone as they continue to look around. Nobody in this lobby should feel any bit of safety or comfortability when it comes to that Storm Surge. It's doing even the best of the teams in and pressuring them to find some shots.
Those Acorn peeking through the attic, nothing quite here. And again, the standings, the update, all 5 teams in the top 5 are still alive. As it stands right now, we have no idea who is going to be the next FNCS champion or who will be our top 3 to get a ticket to the Global Championships, which you can attend in October. This is going to be the best, honestly, the best time to be crowned a North American king, if you will. The crowning champion. As we've had this full merger, NA West, NA East coming together, the competition has never been tougher.
That's one thing I feel like I haven't even talked about enough. The unified regions being that first undisputed champion of North America. A ton of bragging rights, something that you can hold on to for the next couple months before FNCS Major 3. Duke and Edgy rotating. They're trying to hold on to their first place spot. Start the game, it was Yamzo and Rise. With those 2 eliminations, the Edgy and Duke, they took it right back. But it's only that much of a gap because Yamzo and Rise even have an elimination. And that just goes to show how close this game actually is. It's either elimination, placement points, every single one of those matter.
And of all the zones we've had on this day 2, this is the first in quite some time, it feels like, that we're not going to have all this water involved. It's going directly on up to some solid land and ground. On average, 82 points have separated first and second in the other regions, and just 22 points are separating first through 5th here in NA. This is now, once again, in good NA fashion, another close FNCS. I don't know if I'm a lucky charm or something, but I've been on a streak the last 3 or 4 NA championships. FNCSs I've been a part of have been extremely good. And I'm in for a treat here with you, Jacob. This is crazy.
I mean, I definitely feel like you're my lucky charm.
I'll take it.
No, I know me and Levin have a lot of fun throughout the course of the weeks. Boricua brothers here. We just, you know, on a different level. But I love seeing Levin and Shy over on the other side of things. EU as Cooper and Miro. It may not be them who's down on Surge, but so many other teams in the lobby might be suffering to that. As Bucky and Okus inch themselves closer and closer. Shots coming in from the third party. Cooper's shields get drained. They become the focus of the lobby. 48 HP, getting pushed back into the zone as well. So even though he's shielding himself very nicely, he's still taking some damage, forced to reposition. Luckily for him, Miro built themselves a little box of metal that they can work with to try to shield and use those splashes to get themselves back on up. And as the shots have slowed down, I think they've escaped tragedy at least once so far, and even found a gift on a death on the other side. And like I said, more times than not, they do have that vault loot, so that's a huge find if they do.
And you know, Def's super upset. I saw him actually tweeting like, just give me a pulse rifle, I'll show you what I can do. But Rift Island's not on his side right now. And that's it. His championship run is over. His FNCS finals is done. But Tahi has a chance now to fight back. It's a tough ask, though. Miro and Cooper are, of course, on fire right now. Big shots come in, though, onto Miro and Cooper. They're luckily the damage is split between the 2 and not absorbed by just one. That couldn't have worked out better for them as they have a chance to still bounce back here. but that was a close one.
Yeah, I was feeling like Cooper there for a second was just a magnet taking shots. Even though he has good mobility, he's trying to stay ahead of the game. They still have a far rotation. The zone, in theory, is going to move slower as they push towards that right side of the map. Good shot is going to be fired, but ends up in a fight again against Ocus. Him and Bucky are just hot on their heels. Everybody here at this portion of the map is going to have to fight through one another onto that congested side of the zone. For Miro and Cooper, they do have the fact that they don't have to fight for Surge. It's just something that they're gaining along the way because people want to fight them.
It's true. Miro has the big heals, though. There it is. He drops legendary Slurp Juice, and now they're one of the last to make this rotate. You can see teams like Bucky already on the move, but others are looking inwards. Those situated few that have these high ground spots. Miro goes on up, waiting for the charge to come in. Finally, it does. And now in he goes. He finds Larson there, doesn't quite find a tag, but this might be the force of a lobby focus if I've ever seen one. He's in a tunnel on the low ground with many, many teams in front of him. But it seems like things settled down for a second. Jack and Quad looked past them, potentially to the other teams that were just nearby.
Great
That
position.
Japan barely made it in. They were so far out. What happened? Surge.
Yep. You're kind of seeing it because, like you said, they were so far out. They weren't really able to focus on getting a ton of that surge. They were just able to get enough to barely be enough above that threshold. But now they're looking up, trying to find more. They see Kanata and Agers distracted, trying to get their own surge, trying to drop them down into the palm of their hands. Because if you look at their HP, if you look at their shields, they really have no other choice but to try to get a refresh. And as soon as they fall below that damage threshold, that is going to be them in panic mode.
This is going to be the most important time to focus on our top 5. Placement points are just moments away, but this is the most difficult part of any Fortnite game, making it right past these big moving zones here. All of our top 5 is still alive. Anyone can be your champion, especially those that you see right there listed off to the side.
3 points separating first and second, 2 points separating second and third. This is one of the closest FNCSs I've personally been a part of myself. I know you talked about a few yourself, and this is just a treat. Especially really not knowing who's going to win or who has the best chance at the end of the day. As Yamso, Rise, they're just looking off into the distance. You can see instead of getting the red eye, he pulls out that mythical tactical pistol rather early on, just in case they end up in a CQC battle against one another. They can put out so much DPS in the blink of an eye.
Bugha threats, putting players into their lines of sights right now, trying to force the lobby onto them. And it does seem to work. This is Commandment. This is Macwood, who had the luck of the draw on the zones here, hence why they're still alive. Bugha comes in with the splash here to top off his teammate, just making sure everything is good right now. But we have ourselves a big update here. It looks like on the other side of things, Pamstl and Thatch have troubles as Pamstl finds himself out in the open, no builds, and they fall. And just like that, my favorites, the French Canadians, our 4th place team, is down and out. We now have 4 other duos to focus in on, including Cold and Acorn, who need to continue to rack up. They have some of the more eliminations that we've seen so far. Miro finds Jack there in the feed. Big one for him.
And that's 4 more points. They were just down 2, so as soon as that elimination does get cleaned up, they'll bump themselves into 2nd place. That's how close the game is. Bugha getting elimination as well. And with Pamstl and Thatch down in 4th place,
Miro's knocked.
their shot at the FNCS Global Championship for this major is out the window, and Bugha and Threat's chance to get in just upped.
Oh, Cooper's by himself now. Miro's down. He gets fully finished. Cooper has a flare gun. Still has, of course, a kinetic blade to work with, but the match is starting to run thin. It's not looking too hot right now, as you still have Iamzo and Rise up, Dukes and Edgy. Let's take a look right back at it really quickly. How did it go down? Bugha looks in onto Macwood and Commandment. That's how he finds his points. And then, of course, in between all of that, we did have another one fall. Acorn finds on one. Bugha and Threats are looking solid right now. They finally have an elimination on the board. Can't have a second.
The mats are what worry me right now, but they're hot on their heels of Thoric. Hopefully he has more than just Siphon as he ends up being a third party stuff, the focus of the lobby. This is not the best place to be for Thoric, but on the other side, Bugha and Threads, this is exactly the position you want to be in with a player living on a prayer trying to stay alive, but Yamso and Rise, they're under pressure themselves. Another one of our contenders here in the lobby, getting forced back. Zone now pushing in. Yamso has no more of the
Oh my gosh,
he cannot waste any time, but down goes Rise. We lost Miro, we lost Rise. A lot of our top teams fighting for that top spot are now solos.
Rise falls to the hands of Cooper.
Wow.
Cooper took him down. Iamzo barely slips out of there, and all of a sudden, the top players are real potential champions are exchanging blows with one another. I mean, it's only a matter of time. It's starting to constrict and close the zone here for Cooper. He's got 2 elims. Miro's got 1. That's a lot of points, but that's not enough to close this gap. They have to continue to earn more. He's gonna slip by. Still has a lot of mats here. He's got plenty to work with. Edgy and Duke are looking healthy. They have, of course, elims and heals too. This could be their chance to walk away with it.
Yep. This is gonna be coming down to, honestly, if everybody stays alive, it's literally going to come down to final placement and the eliminations that you've been able to get. You said Threats out. Yamso, I think he fell as well. I don't see him here on the map as Cooper staying alive here as a solo. This race has gotten that much more close between our top teams.
Let's see it. Edgy, Duke, try to play for hype, but no. Instead, play for a positioning here. They couldn't quite get there, and they have to think again. They are the best boys team. Bucky finds Threats. It's up to Bugha. Bugha's by himself. Bugha's trying to play for the pickup right now. Can he stick the save potentially? Acorn and Cold are in trouble to the box next door. It looks like the save might just be successful. Cold is still in this. Threats is still in this. He gets picked up. Bugha with the save. That could be everything for this potential dub here.
If you're a fan of Bugha and Threads, I don't think you have scripted a better ending than this one.
My God.
As Cooper is just landing shot after shot, just trying to take down as much shields as humanly possible. But he now has to rotate to the front side of zone, but he does not have material. He needs a refresh if he wants to try to keep his game intact. A monster shot on the Bugha. This is it. And it all comes down to this. Bugha goes down, and he doesn't get knocked, which means we lost Threats as well.
And look at that. He might just land up for high ground. Duke and Edgy are still in this, but the points are just so close. It will come down to placement. Can Coop truly do this by himself? He goes on up to high ground, gets tagged from behind, slips down, but seeing the builds there, no. He's now officially down and out. He only has a single build. Make that 0. Cole's still alive here, fighting back for more placement points.
That was Duke.
Looking up. Dukes is down, and now
solos.
Cooper has a chance. Every team that falls gives Coop more and more points to potentially be the FNCS champion, but Edgy's still here as well.
There's so many of these players are solos. Edgy, solo. Cold, solo. And he finds it. Oh, it's Edgy who takes him out. He takes out Cooper, one of the big competitors in his way, but Pollo's still staying alive. He has a chance, especially with a lot of our teams going down. He finds a monster shot onto Edgy. These are 2 of our contenders. TK on the other side. Edgy forced down low to the low ground. He has no mats.
Pollo took down Edgy as well. But hold up, Edgy's singling around. He finds a huge tag and puts another player down. Top 5 he goes. Tries to follow up with the shield bubble. Absorbs 2. Literally saving that opponent. And just points slip away there. Clarity G falls. And just like that, Edgy now is one of the last standing competitors here. He's going to go for the breakthrough. He doesn't even want Hype to have it for free. He's going to break him down into the box. He needs the Siphon, and he gets ticked out. It is so close. Pollo is still alive. And he gets the Elim credit in the end there. It is extremely close here.
What? Peterbot gets a knock onto Aviv. He could clutch it up. He's probably one of the better mechanical skilled fighters on this lobby right now. And he has a 1v1 against Skittles, who just has a sliver of HP. And Peterbot does the impossible and clutches up big.
Winning the final game, Peterbot and Quanti managed to find a sliver of opportunity, and then they take advantage of it. The best part about that is that game could have been big enough for Peterbot and Quanti to get closer and closer to a potential top 10 or 5 or so. Remember, money is still on the line. Global championships for top 3 is still on the line. You have to perform, and Peterbot does just that.
I cannot believe what we witnessed in this final game. If it wasn't our top teams going down, It was them being stuck as solos, and then on top of that, they were fighting each other. I feel like I was watching Fortnite the movie.
At this point, it really was anyone's opportunity to take it away. We had so many teams that we needed to stay alive going head-to-head. All I know for sure is that Pamsman Fat fell first, and all of a sudden, we had 4 teams in the running, 8 players in this crazy race there, Jacob.
Yeah, you talk about 8th place, the 8 players. Aviv Skittles started that game in 8th place. They got second. Quanti and Peterbot started outside of that one as well. So even though some of these players don't have a chance to take that first place spot, there's hundreds of thousands of dollars still up for grabs. But let's go ahead and throw it on over to Zeke and our analyst to let us know who won FNCS Major 2.
Jacob was so right. This was Fortnite the movie, and my oh my, it was a AAA movie at that. $1 million V-Buck film right here. It all happened, and as they stated, it was the top 5 of literally the entire space of the zones. They could not be the farthest apart. They just said, hey, you know what? You're right there. Hello. Boop, boop. Like, absolutely insane. Every single shot, these duos were trading back and forth. Every single kinetic blade charge expended. Every other top 5 member was saying, you're moving, we are too. We want this. We will claw at this to the very end.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we got to game 12. All of our top 5 teams were alive. 8th zone, they were all looking healthy. Their storm surge values were looking good. And when those moving zones started to kick off, it was like they knew who each other were on the battlefield. They just kept trading shots.
I know.
Oh my God, like Zeke mentioned, a movie.
I know, and I love that we were standing on stage like, oh my gosh, what's happening next? It really was so cool to see like our top 5 teams competing at the end. So I really loved that we got that, like that suspense built. Even towards the end, I'm just like, I don't know what's gonna happen, Zeke.
I think the most impressive of the top 5 to me was Cooper. Being put in basically an impossible situation, left alone in arguably shambles position with less than 50 effective HP on green, and just saying, I'll fight. Why not? What do I have to lose? I'm fighting for a championship. I'm fighting for a top 3 spot. It's all or nothing.
Bugha left the solo clutch. Cooper left the solo clutch. Amazon Rise went down a little early. Of course, Edgy and Duke were the ones that made it the furthest in the end game. I think they might have the advantage there. We'll have to see how it all breaks down.
Well, it is that time. We will find out together the winners of Major 2 here in North America. FNCS Grand Finals. Your winners are Duke and Edgy. And finally, today, history is made for 2 reasons. 1, Edgy finally gets that Axe of Champions. He will finally have that moment. Duke at his side. But, friends, this is also the first time in FNCS history that a duo going into day 2 in first place has gone on to win the Grand Finals. Not just NA, but all 6 regions.
Yeah, incredible stuff. I mean, what a run from Duke and Edgy. You know, they of course came into day number 2 in first place. That was only by 1 point. You know, they started off a little slow. There were a lot of changes at the top of the leaderboard. But when it comes down to it, when it comes down to game number 12, even though the leaderboard was still so close at the end of the day, they clutched up. And shout out to Dignitas joining the Fortnite scene, getting their first FNCS Major Championship win. Of course, that same sentiment for Edgy as well, that honorary Dig member there.
Yeah. Congratulations to you guys. I'm very impressed by the scale that y'all have portrayed in these games. And I love that we talked about some teams can be day 1 teams, some teams can be day 2. They are both days. They are just true champions, and they really showed out.
Yeah, to me, man, once again, in case you didn't know, Edgy's always been that guy who's come so close. So many seconds, places in a row, back-to-back seasons in a row, has been looking for that Axe of Champions. And today, it is his. But don't forget, we're looking for the top 3. Remember, we're taking a look at who will be representing NA in the FNCS Global Championship later this year. Let's take a look together. Off of that game, Cooper and the solo performance coming in so strong says, you know what, Miro, let's go to Globals, baby. Just watch me.
Hey, listen, shout out to Cooper. Shout out to Miro. We saw some incredible solo clutches out of that duo today alone. making sure that they made their run towards globals. And then Pollo and Sphinx finding themselves in third place as well. You know, the big question mark was who was going to be in top 3. They've snuck in.
I really think it's so cool how we really didn't know. There's some of these other regions where it's just like, okay, yeah, like there's some definite dominant teams, but it was all over the place. It was jumping around, and it really shows just the strengths that these teams have to push on to the top, and they are going to be having that place at Globals. I'm so excited to see how they perform there.
See, look at 4th, 5th,
It's wild.
and 6th,
Like,
519, 518, 56. That's how close this competition was. And it's literally the difference, thousands of dollars.
And to think, we watched that battle unfold before our very eyes to see Jacob PR and MDF just masterfully call every single interaction. It was easy to follow. It was fluid. And these teams, they fought tooth and nail to the very end. But it is your top 3 that will go into globals. And of course, Duke and Edgy, who are your FNCS champions in North America. However, let's not forget, there's 6 regions. So why don't we go ahead and head on over to our casters to check in with the other winners of the FNCS. Thank you so very much, Zeke. Yeah, we have a lot to catch up with. The FNCS is now officially concluded, and we have all of our champions to congratulate. If you tuned in at the start of the day, you saw Europe, Queasy, and Vino dominate the performance, of course. And Jacob, we had the pleasure of casting North America.
Yeah, Duke and Edgy take that top spot. Brazil, they mimicked what Queasy and Vivo, 6 VRs throughout 2 days. King and Phaser Kame just proving they're one of the best.
Absolutely. Then we jump on over to Asia, where, of course, Team Alba, they're always putting up great performances. Awesome signed players. Yuma and Jaemon Kun come out and do their thing. They come on the top. Oceania, of course, pops up. You have Suns, Thug, and Anon KTN doing.
And that's a back-to-back for them, which means somebody else earned a spot to that global championship. But give it one last time for Cal Gamer and 7-man 1X from the Middle East region, taking that top spot. A huge amount of effort went into all these competitors throughout these 2 days. They have definitely earned that Axe of Champions.
Cool part about this is, of course, if you are a champion, you're going to the Global Championship. Of course, tomorrow's going to be a big day. Ticket sales are going live. You can pick it up. We'll be seeing these players in Copenhagen for these international head-to-head competitions that are going to take place. It's only going to get better.
Yeah, it's only going to get better because we still have another FNCS Major 3 as well, where more teams will earn their shot for that global championship. But I think Brazil and Europe, there are huge props for what they've been able to do throughout the games. But I'm going to go ahead and toss it back on over to Zeke to let us know who else will we be seeing.
Thank you guys so much. As these gentlemen did allude to, we have global championships happening later on this year. Why don't we take a look at who is qualified through from Major number 2? We have an amazing breakdown here. And what I love is that we can also compare this to Major number 1. Remember, spots will continue to open up as we draw closer and closer to globals. But now in Major number 2, take a look at just this list of duos we'll be seeing at the global championships. As a representation from every single region, we have some serious powerhouses.
I mean, there are a lot of teams. We saw some great performances out of a lot of these teams. Shout out Malibuca and Thomas, showing what they're capable of, even when contested. Of course, you know, we have the NA teams, Acorn and Cold, that will be going there. Thork and Bolts as well. Some teams clutched it up today. I mean, Cooper and Mira. We got Seti and Cammy, FNCS Invitational winners returning to the international stage. I can't wait, and we've only been through Major number 2. We still have Major number 3 global qualifications available as well.
Oh my gosh, Vivid. Literally, I'm looking at this, and I'm just blown away by the skill that we've seen in the past games. But on this board, I'm like, to watch them play all together at Globals is going to be absolutely mind-blowing. I cannot wait.
And you just think, again, like, these guys are not only putting up these numbers, locking in their spots, but as Vivid's kind of talked about, there's a whole other major. We will continue to put names on that board. While these guys, they get to come into Major number 3 and say, hey, we've already qualified. Now we can stand in your way. We can dictate what you are allowed to do. We can land on your spot and say, in globals, that's our spot.
Yeah.
That is what I'm most excited to see going into Major 3.
We talk about it all the time, right? The meta within the meta, these lobbies, these formulaic games that happen over the course of 2 days, 12 games. There's so much to unfold, and we saw some strategies unfold here today on NA. Of course, EO was a stomp house over there. We'll see Queasy and Vino look to kind of, get revenge when it comes to that international stage.
Yeah.
Fortnite's so fun.
It's so fun. And we've talked about this before too, but when there are certain duos in the lobby that are very, they kind of claim height or they're more dominant in these positions, you have to take that into effect on like the way that you're going to play these games out. So there'll be times that we'll look into these games and we'll say, okay, we got this crazy duo that's a height team. Maybe I'm going to have to learn how to play low ground. So they're going to have to adjust and adapt to those different play styles.
For me, the question has to be, are we there yet? Can we step up to Europe? I think today, Major 2 is a good step in the right direction, but I think we still have work to do.
Zeke loves this question so much.
I
love Zeke so much, right? Because he's like, he's such a little NA fanboy. He's like, yes, let's catch up to EU. Zeke, let's be honest, like EU, they've got some really big powerhouses over there. It's going to be tough.
I will say, though, but I really love seeing the names that maybe we haven't heard as much really just put their names on the board and saying, look, hey, like, we're here too. And we've talked about this so much, but anything really can happen. Going into these globals, we're having a lot of different skill combined. And I think, too, again, like we've talked about top of show, we've said, these are the names that we think. And then we had our winner be not even someone we talked about, which is so crazy. Like it's so crazy that anything can happen. And I love that about these duos. And I love seeing new names come into the Fortnite space.
Yeah, did you guys have maybe like a favorite moment from the day that you thought like, yeah, this is us, this is North America?
I think Coop and Miro, I'm happy to see Miro kind of back in that top 3. He's had such a dominant career. He was going to retire this season. It's back to top 3 of an FNCS. How do you do that in the same season?
Absolutely. Well, friends, we have something very special lined up for you right now. It is an interview with none other than one of the winners. It is Edgy. Edgy, first off, man, I just have to say a huge congratulations. You've worked so long, so hard for this moment. What does it feel like to finally say, the Axe of Champions, it's mine?
Words don't even, like, I can't even talk right now. Like, I'm literally at a loss for words. I don't even know. I was literally shaking like the whole time. Like I don't even know. Like there's literally nothing. Back out. I bet.
Bro, you've poured so much into this. For you guys coming into Major number 2, what was the prep? What was the one thing you guys were coming in and saying, this is it. This will be that thing that will take us to the top?
I mean, we have a coach, Buzz, and we've literally played every scrim session, every type of practice. We've prepped for everything. Literally, we didn't even have nerves going into this tournament. We had every single solution to any problem just figured out. We got surprise con and we're just ready for it. And we just put in more time than anyone else. And I feel like that just shows.
Well, go ahead. Yeah. I really want to know. I don't know about you. I really want to know what the key to that consistency was. We've seen the consistency yesterday, today. What was it? What do you think personally was it that kept y'all at the top?
I mean, we just land on a meta spot. We have katanas, surge off spawn from like 50-50ing a spot, and then just all the prep we did, we knew exactly what to do every single zone. Like cash spawns around us. We just know everything. We did enough prep, so we're not surprised by any situation.
Love it.
Nice. And one thing that I want to hone on, all right, you said you came into the competition, you guys weren't nervous at all, but then you mentioned that you guys were shaking. When did that shaking start to happen? Was it just game 12, game 11? When did that start to take place?
I think in the middle of the games, it's just there's no shaking. You just have to focus on like one thing at a time. The worst had been going to game 12 and everyone, there's like top 5 and it was like a 15-point difference between everyone, and luckily we were able to close it out.
Edgy, I mean, I just want to give you just the biggest congrats. Not only will you hold the Axe of Champions high, but dude, you've qualified to globals. You did 2 things. You've made history in 2 different ways today. For you moving forward, what are you looking forward to at globals? What are you guys hoping to kind of fix or just kind of refine so that when you guys hit that stage, you can say, EU, not now?
Obviously EU is just more ahead of us, maybe trying to like play some of their scrims, talking to some of their players, get insight on like how they think, how they work. Just doing anything to kind of get ahead of NA right now, just because NA right now is behind EU skill wise. And actually the last few games we had Queasy coaching, which helped a lot. Like he's so smart.
Yeah, well, hey, listen, Edgy, congratulations to you, to Duke. For the fans out there, if for some reason they don't know your name, they know it now, where can they find you?
Twitter.com/edgy with 2 Ys. Twitch.tv/edgy with 2 Ys. And yeah, that's about it.
Man, well, again, just a big congratulations, dude. I'm so happy to see you win this. You put in so much work, and on this day, it pays off. Congratulations. Thanks for your time, man, and we'll see you very, very soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Man, oh, man. Edgy, just one of the best. He's finally done it. That's what the FNCS is all about. And as we continue to talk about globals, if you didn't know, well, then check this out. This is the Global Championship.
The best players in the world all battling it out.
Insane matches already today.
These are the moments that make these players championship material.
One chance to make it happen, and they take it by force.
It is going to be absolutely insane. That's right. Tickets are on sale May 15th, first thing in the morning, 4 a.m. Eastern. Go get yourself some tickets. We want to see you there. Globals will blow you away. If this and EU was exciting, that will be the very next step and the conclusion to the year, of course. Oh, guys, that's it. Major 2 is all done. I know this is the part that I hate the most. But as we kind of wrap things up, I'd love to hear from all of you. Final closing thoughts and maybe even what you hope to look forward to in Major number 3.
I mean, for me, it's just coming from, the West region. Poyo has always been a player that had an immense amount of skill. He had second place finishes on the region. He almost was able to go to the FNCS Invitational last season. I think this just goes to show that this is his moment to shine. Even though he didn't win, I think this goes to show the amount of skill a lot of these players possess.
Yeah, truly. A huge congratulations to Sphinx and Poyo. That big shot, finding the big hit onto TK last season. He had second place. He was on Team Ignite, switched on over to Fusion, and again, just continues to pick up. So for him to squeeze out that third, I know a young 15-year-old player like him, we saw how Edgy was blown away. And, Edgy's a young adult. You have to imagine he is at a loss for words as well. That's what this is all about.
I just feel so privileged to be a part of the NA stream and the team here and working with all of you guys. And I know you love to see these giant stops from EU and Brazil where they get 6 victory royales. But personally, I love when it's so close. You can't tell who has the win until the very final moment. So thank you guys, and thank you to everyone watching, and of course the incredible 100 players we had today.
I know, being on the edge of my seat, being not sure of what's happening next was just the most excitement that I've felt, and I cannot wait to see what happens for Major 3.
I'm always game for some fun for that. I got all of that today. I got to see record-breaking performances over on EU. I got to see a Game 12 finish over on NA. I'm going to bed happy.
Well, that is it from us here for Major number 2. As much as we hate to say goodbye, the very next time you'll see us is Major number 3. Don't forget, tickets on sale for the Global Championships, May 15th, 4 a.m. Eastern. Don't miss out. Until we see you guys next time, as always, we love you. Keep yourself safe, and we'll see you on that battle bus.
Beep, beep.
The Global Championship.
The best players in the world all battling it out.
Insane matches already today.
These are the moments that make these players championship material.
One chance to make it happen, and they take it by force.
It is going to be absolutely insane.
Wow.